Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici, welcome my friends. My name is Vincenzo and welcome to my channel, Fountain Pen Therapy. I've got a beautiful Italian pen for you folks today. As I had promised to provide to you a review at least once a month of an Italian pen that I was able to find at a reasonable and affordable price. That is not to say that we won't purchase any Italian pens at unreasonable prices or more expensive. But having said that, I do want to try to get to you at least once a month or maybe even every 2 or 3 weeks an Italian pen at an affordable price, which I would say is somewhere less than $200. And we'll do our best to try to get some of those pens out for you and for you to appreciate. Well, today what we're looking at is another Gioia pen, and I got to tell you, I just love this Gioia pen makers. They really come out with some very, very nice pens. This is the Bellavista model, and it's the Twilight, if you will. It's just, I think, a beautiful pen. It does resemble somewhat the Alaria and probably just a larger version, and it's a piston filler. But I think this pen deserves quite a bit of praise. It's quickly become, at least in terms of looks and feel, one of my favorite pens. I'm just hoping that Gioia branded Yowo nib lives up to its reputation. Stay tuned. Okay, so we're here with the box that showed the pen. You saw the pen in the introduction, but the pen is found in this beautiful box with the Gioia Writing Emotions logo. There is a booklet that explains how to fill the pen and also how to, remove that piston so you can clean it. And they provide the tool for it, which is, really nicely inscribed, the Gioia name there, Bellavista, so you can't mix them up. This is the one that you're going to use for the Bellavista pen. So very good instructions in both Italian and in English. You of course have a booklet that explains the history or the story of Gioia along with the international warranty, and the pen is tucked away in this kind of velvety, cushiony material. And here is that beautiful pen. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, the first thing to mention is that this pen is a giant. It has, quite a bit of substance, quite a bit of girth. It's got a nice weight. First thing to note is that gorgeous resin. It's a resin that combines the blue and kind of a gold brown, which emulates, of course, the Twilight. Twilight on the beautiful coast of Naples. And let me just maybe touch on Naples itself, given that I come from that region. I was born, if you go just a little south of Naples to Sorrento, it's maybe half an hour drive, and there's also kind of a train that gets you there. But Naples is, some people might say, is like one of the armpits of the world, just because it is dirty. It's got some criminal elements. You've got to be very careful when you're walking down the streets there, especially near the port, near the bus station, etc. But I got to tell you, it is one of the most gorgeous cities. I've always said, if we can remove at least half of the population because it's overcrowded and just clean up that city, I mean the architecture and once you go on top where you can see the whole coast, you see the picture in my intro video, and you see the Vesuvius in the background. It is just spectacular. So, and the Neapolitan culture, the Neapolitan, the food, the music, the poetry, the classic Neapolitan attitude, it is something to be admired. They also, by the way, have probably the best espresso coffee. There's a little shop. It's a famous one actually. They say they have the best espresso coffee or the best coffee in the world there. Just next to the palace. It's a beautiful place. You can have a cappuccino, take a little pastry, sit in the terrace, watch the cars go by, unfortunately. But, if you can have a coffee there, please do. Anyway, that's a quick tourist tips for you for my. I'm very proud of that city, for my one of my favorite cities in the world, which is Naples. So, off of the tourist tips, let's get back to the pen. You can see that the pen inscribed in that barrel is the name Gioia Bellavista, and I believe it's 149, which is, I guess, the number of pieces. This is the 149th. Very nice gold trimmings, especially the center band that has the A, that is the branding or the brand, the logo of Gioia, made with a special process. You've got that classic Gioia clip, which is springy and functional. And then I really like this finial. I mean, it's got that solid blocked, very sharp, edged finial, smooth everywhere, of course, quality product. There you have it, a huge ink window. I've got some ink in there right now so you could see the level. When you open it up, it opens up in one turn to reveal this very nice Yo branded nib. Very, very nice. It's branded Gioia, but it's done in a really sharp manner. There's almost some relief in that. I don't know if I could move that in, so you could appreciate a little more. Take a look at that nib, really done nicely. And it's a broad, and that's in line with what I've realized is that in some of the cheaper papers, the broad is probably the way to go. So that explains why I'm getting more and more broad nibs. There you have the pen on the outside. You've got to be careful with this part of the section, because the threading is found below at the bottom as opposed to right here at the top. And when you go to ink that pen, if you don't clean that threading properly, you may have a little bit of a mess on your fingers. So it's not a big deal, but it's worthy of mention. The section is, for a girthy pen, it's only 11 millimeters. You would expect it to have been 12, but it's not. So it's a little bit on the thinner. So for those of you who like big pens but don't like big sections, this is actually perfect. It's a good combination. Very comfortable, well balanced, really, really nice fit and writing experience, I would say. Does it post? Yes, it posts. You can post this pen, but I think the posting makes it back-weighted, although it's not as bad as you would think, given that this is almost like 180, I think, millimeters long. We'll see that in the measurement in a few seconds. But having said that, I think it's very, very comfortable nonetheless. So for those of you who really want to post, you can. However, I think it's too big. I don't think this pen is really meant to be posted, but it can be. Okay. You also have to be careful that you don't, because the piston, some of the Italian pens, you can remove the finial to expose the piston knob. This one, no. The piston knob is what you see here. So if you're not careful when you cap that pen or post it, you may turn the mechanism and you'll find yourself with a little bit of a mess. So you got to be careful. Okay, that's probably the only downside of this pen is the posting, because honestly, I don't think it was ever meant to be posted. Now, let's take a look inside the cap here. Let me just get my, where is my, trying to look for my trusty flashlight. Well, I can't find it, but let me just see the capping if there is a, yeah, no, I think I need my flashlight. Just 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Here's my trusty flashlight just to see whether we see any sealing. Difficult to say. There is at the bottom there. Yeah, that's where the screwing mechanism is. So yes, this would be sealed because the screwing mechanism is deep into that cap. There you have it. So that's it. Excellent. So I think that covers the pen outside and inside. Why don't we take a look at some pen comparisons, and then we'll be back with a writing sample. Be right back. I've chosen a few pens for you that you've seen in my introductory video. Here they are. Okay. Well, first of all, compared to the Delta Dolce Vita DV Premier, so that's the DV, that's the recent version, the Premier version. That's the Gioia Partenope, which is one of my favorite pens, and you can see the typical clip there, and you can see the size is just slightly bigger than the Partenope, and the Partenope is a big pen. It's also girthier than the Partenope. Here it's next to my Delta Lex. This is, by the way, one of my Grail pens. It is a pen obviously dedicated to my profession, being a lawyer. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous pen. One of my favorite pens. And for me, it is a Grail pen, and that is the Delta Lex Black. Compared here, you have my Montblanc 149, so it gives you an idea. It's even girthier and just about, no, because it is a pointed finial here, the Montblanc is slightly longer. And then compared to my Easterbrook, the oversized version, here it is. So there you have the pen comparison of the pens capped. Here are the pens capped. So you can tell that these are all, apart from the Easterbrook, which is really, really much longer than the rest, the others are pretty well the same size, and you can definitely see the girthy quality of the Bellavista. Is just as girthy as my Delta Premier there. So there you have, and of course my Montblanc has that number 8 or maybe even number 9 size nib, which is much bigger, but otherwise there you have a good sampling of the pens, uncapped and unposted. Well, I must say that posted, none of these pens are great posters, if you will. This Gioia Partenope doesn't really post right. Maybe my Delta posts well. The subject pen, the Bellavista does post, but look how big it is. It becomes just as big as my Easterbrook, who doesn't post well. The Montblanc posts well, but kind of slippery, has a tendency to come off. But the only good poster is this Lex Delta, but that's because it has a screwing mechanism, so it's not going anywhere. But as you can see, all of these pens are really not meant to be written posted. They just become too long and monstrous. So there you have the pens posted. We'll look at some measurements, and then I'm looking forward to that writing sample. Stay tuned, folks. Okay, so we're back for the writing sample. First thing, the ink that we're going to use is this Beatles Montblanc psychedelic purple, which I think is a nice, really nice ink. And, you know, if we open it up, it's got this beautiful box. I like to keep all my Montblanc boxes if it comes in a box. So there you have it. And that's the ink. So that's the ink. And in terms of a swatch, for you to appreciate the swatch of that ink, here it is. It's the Montblanc the Beatles psychedelic purple. So you see, it's an ink that has a little bit of sheening, but it's a nice purple, and I think that it'll go well with the Bellavista Twilight. So there you have it. Okay, so we're back with the writing sample. Paper I'm using is this Galen leather Tomoe River notepad with a beautiful accessory that you can put your pen on, which I really, really recommend if you have the inclination to purchase something like that. Okay, so let's see what this nib does. So this is the Gioia. Oh, folks, I just wrote 5 letters here, and I gotta tell you, what a buttery smooth nib. So this is the Bellavista. Oh, it's just Twilight. It's a gusher, and it's buttery, buttery, buttery smooth. So the nib is a Yowo Gioia branded steel number 6 broad. You know, when you have a nib like this, who needs gold nibs? I mean, you don't need a gold nib. I mean, this thing is just perfect. The ink is Mont Blanc psychedelic purple. It is, folks, an absolute gusher. Does it have, can you squeeze out of it anymore? No, it's a pretty unified line there. I don't see any major line variation, but it is just buttery smooth, and look how consistent it is. I mean, fast writing. Yeah, I mean, buttery smooth. This is reverse writing. Some of you people keep asking me, do reverse writing. Well, here we go. Reverse writing. Look at that. It writes a nice fine line. So even reverse writing, you can get something out of it. So this is a very smooth, very wet, and very constant. So well-tuned Yowo nib. Let's get into the likes and dislikes. I only have one dislike, and that's the posting that some of you might, find irritating. It doesn't post very deeply. It sits at the top, and it can interfere with that knob. But I really think, in all fairness, that this pen it's so big that it's not meant to be posted. The likes, everything else. I mean, the design, the build quality is just top, made in Italy. The resin, the trimmings. It's a piston filler, which some of us might consider an advantage. And that nib is 10 on 10 for that nib, I got to tell you. So there you have it. That's my assessment of the situation. I think this pen is an absolute go-to pen, and it will find itself in my case for next week and for many, many weeks to come. I can guarantee you it's a 10 on 10 for that. So all that, that's me. I will sign that. Sorry about that. I just lifted the pen. So all to say that That's it, folks. I mean, this pen is an absolute joy to write with. It's the Twilight Bellavista. I know it comes in blue, and it is that beautiful. There also comes in that beautiful yellowish green, the Pompeii version. That I got to tell you, had it been available at $169, that's the version I would have gone to. But it wasn't available. I just noticed that recently Pen Chalet, at least as of the date that I'm filming this video, did have the blue version available. This one was no longer available, but I'm sure you can find this pen somewhere else other than Pen Chalet at a reasonable price. And if you're interested, I really recommend it. Comes from Naples. Don't ever forget that. Thank you very much for joining me. State bene, fate bravi, and be well. Subscribe, comment. Enjoy your pens, folks. It's fountain pen therapy. Thank you very much.